It's a mindset book. It's not a manual or practical book that when you read it, you become practically rich. A friend of mine who studied in China, studied mechanical engineering in China. I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh my God, amazing, amazing, as my friend from Mexico would say. And we have improved already. You can see my camera quality. It wasn't like this before. I read the same book, but it cannot have the same impact. You understand what I'm saying? On us. So I was not around. I was not around for a good 2 months and some couple of days. I was in the US. Hi everybody. So my name is Sive. Well, I don't think there's a need at all to actually introduce myself. But for new subscribers, my name is Sive. I'm the same person that actually does podcasts, right? So it's just that I'm not wearing a cap today, and I do want to welcome new subscribers. Thank you so much for subscribing to this movement, the movement of mindset, beliefs, and money. There's a lot that is going on in our discussions. We discuss a lot of things, so you might actually watch some of the episodes, and you will for sure benefit on that. And I do want to say hi to our all subscribers. Hi guys, and I know a lot of you have been asking questions. Where are you hiding? Where are you living now? And stuff like that. Oh, here I am. Here we reconnect again. You see how marvelous technology is. We can now reach each other. And I do want to apologize with my inconsistency when it comes to uploading episodes. I know, guys, I'm so inconsistent on that. I'm so inconsistent. So I do want to apologize. And I promise you I have good reasons, and some are just not good. But I'm just gonna give you some of the why I'm so inconsistent of this. Number one, I was just not so dedicated because I haven't decided to be a content creator. It happened as one of the things that I just like tap my foot on a little. So it's something like, this is what I do for a hobby, when I'm not working, when I'm not doing like running my business. This is what I just decide to do, right? But now I think I have decided that I want to be a content creator, and there are so many reasons why. And yeah, it's a good thing. And the other like main reason, it's fame, guys. I'm so scared of fame. I don't want to be famous. I just want to be good at the things that I do. And I just realized, and I mean, I think I took this from TikTok, because there are some of my videos that are very highly viewed, and I just realized like people can just enter into your space, and now people know you. I feel so bad when people know me and I've got nothing solid to show that I'm glad you know me for this. You know, the line of Drake, what's the line? In these days, fame is disconnected from excellence. I just don't like the idea that you know me and I haven't really did something solid. I want you to know me because I did something in excellence, right? And I know I won't always achieve that. So I've been battling around those ideas that I don't want to be famous, and if I become consistent on this, because I know like if I'm able to put my mind on something, I know that I can achieve more than average results. That's how I've done a lot of things, and I know, and that's like that's like my whole secret in the things that I do, right? So I know that me being consistent can actually put me at the high level of things right here on YouTube and in other platforms. But I am honestly scared of fame. It's just that right now I'm having I've changed my mindset around it, but I'm still scared, but I just view it differently. Right, I don't like I said, I don't like the ideas or the idea of being just bumping into people randomly. I mean, I don't know. It's when I was a child, I would probably like this more and stuff like that. But now, as I'm growing up, I'm becoming more into myself. I'm very reserved, and I'm just awkward socially. Yeah, so I want to put that aside. That's why I was inconsistent and stuff like that, right? But now I want to come with a new attitude. I'm coming with a new attitude, and part of the things that I want to do here, I'm gonna do a book review, and I'm starting now. Actually, we're gonna review this book just in a minute. Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's one of the books that changed my life. I mean, changed my life. I'm gonna show you some evidence around when I read this book, what happened, right? And we're gonna get into a whole book review segment, right? But I do wanna say the other reason I wasn't uploading up episodes, like I recently uploaded episode. There's an episode that has been uploaded recently, and we shot that. I think, when did we shoot it? In May. Yeah, we shot that in the beginning of May, I think, or in April. I'm not quite sure, but it was, yeah. I was not around. I was not around for a good 2 months and some couple of days. I was in the US, and yeah, I had to go. I had to take the opportunity that I had at hand. So I was in America, and I just left everything. I couldn't upload when I was there. I left my laptop. I left my memories, like my memory sticks or memory card. I left everything that had the information, right? That's why the reels and everything I couldn't just upload. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I didn't upload in a while. Is because I was not in the country, in the continent, for a good 2 months, and when I came back, I just have to to rest, to find myself, to find my tune again, so that I'm able to deliver content, or to deliver information. So yeah, we just uploaded the episode, The Physics of Seduction, with Andile. It's a very great interview. I love it so much. And thanks, Andile, for coming, my man. I really appreciate you coming on my show, right? So we're still gonna do podcast, and this one is just gonna be something that I do. I haven't set a schedule. I literally thought about this idea of doing a book review minutes ago, right? It's not even an hour. I have thought about it, but I'm already doing it, right? So I haven't set a schedule. I'll tell you as time goes on, but I think I want to do this more frequently. The more books I read, the more reviews I can make. And I've read so many books, and some of the books, like this is not just a recent book that I've just read. I finished this book just a while ago, right? It's one of the earliest books, or maybe it's one of the, let me put it like this, it's one of the books that I read it early. So, but not early enough, but it's one of the first books that I've laid my hand on. I mean, I'm gonna tell you, like, when we get into, like I said, a book review segment. So the reason I'm deciding to do this is because I'm a social capitalist. I like capitalizing on information that I know, and everything that I know. I like giving back, right? And I know you guys won't be giving money for the won't be giving me money for this, but at least you're gonna benefit something, and at least at some point, one can, get some incentives one way or other. Like, for instance, if I do a book review, it means now I have to add more on my library, and this is not the limited library. I have other books. I left some at home, the ones that I used to read when I was still staying at home, right? So the library is not limited here, and there's still more books. Some are soft copies, but I on the reviews, I'm gonna review a hard copy, and some I gave them away, right? And so I was saying the reason I'm doing a book review is because I'm a social capitalist. I like gathering things, whether it costs commercializing it, or commercializing from it, but I just like eventually to give back from everything that I've accumulated around myself and around everything, right? So yeah, I'm gonna be doing this as frequent as I can. I promise you, as frequent as I can. And I think we're gonna have fun, guys, because part of the things that you're gonna learn here is how I think eventually when I read a book. Because you can read the same book, but it cannot have the same impact. You understand what I'm saying? On us. So you're gonna get to see my mindset, how I view things, how I understand things, which can also challenge yours, right? And you can leave in a comment how, if you have read this book, how did it affect you and stuff like that. You can leave that. I would love to read those comments. And I'm gonna talk more about my trip in America as we go on. Each and every book review, I'm gonna tell you everything about it as we go on, about my trip to America. How did I find myself there? How was it and stuff like that? We're gonna talk about that. I was hoping this it's gonna take short time, but it seems like it's gonna go forever. But I don't mind talking. Talking is something that I love so much, and yeah, subscribers, thank you guys, and continue to subscribe. I love you so much, and we're gonna improve as we go, as we're carrying on, and we have improved already. You can see my camera quality. It wasn't like this before. I've acquired some advanced phones that I was so yeah, a little bit. I've ordered as well equipment for the podcast. At least now it's gonna improve a little bit. Step by step, we're gonna get into better place of this craft. All right, guys, let's get straight to the book review. I think I need water. Oh, I gotta go and buy it because we have a water problem where I am. The water is not as clean as it's supposed to be. Yeah. Okay, let's get on book review. I love it. Oh my god, amazing, as my friend from Mexico would say. So, Rich Dad Poor Dad, it's a book by Robert Kiyosaki. It's one of the two books that I read from him. The other book that I read from him is Why Student A Work for Student C and Student B Work for Government, something like that. I read the book. It was a soft paper. I don't really enjoy reading like on my laptop or on my iPad. I enjoy reading a hardcover, a hard copy. But let's talk about this one, right? Rich Dad Poor Dad. This is a financial book, personal financial book, right? I see here the topic, and let me tell you how I got to have this book. I didn't buy this book. By the time this book arrived to me, I don't think I could really afford this book. But yeah, I have it. How I got this book, a friend of mine who studied in China, studied mechanical engineering in China. When he came back from China, he gave me this book as a gift. Now, he didn't say it's a gift. He just gave it to me. And he did a lot of things that really helped me. And part of the mission that I think he was on, it was to awaken me that I was living in poverty and stuff like that. And this book, it changed my life when it comes to seeing money. The way I see money now is because of this book. I didn't have expectations when I was reading this book. I didn't really have expectations. I was just diving into it. The only expectation I had is the book is probably around being rich, something like that, right? Because from here, it says, just going to read this part, right? What the rich teach their kids about money. So I was really wanting to learn about money. I didn't have much expectations except for the fact that I will be maybe knowing how to be rich and stuff like that, right? So when I read this book, I didn't have expectations. I read this book 2 times, and I think I'm going to read it 3 times as soon as I get a break from the other books that I'm reading right now. So what I realized about this book is that this book is not really a practical book. It's not a book that you can read and apply, but it's a book that you can read and indirectly apply. So what I mean by that is this book is not a manual. It's not something that says take A and put it to B and you will get C. It's not something like that, but it shows you a different way about money. It's a mindset book. It's not a manual or practical book that when you read it, you become practically rich. it it challenges the way you see money, the way you view money. It it's a book that taps on, how do I put it? It's a book that shows you the other side of money that you didn't know that exists, right? And when I read this book, my finances improved. No cap. I can show you now. My finances improved. So I got this book 2019. My friend gave me this book, I think 2019. Yeah, if I still remember correctly, he gave me 2019, and I was at that moment I was not making money at all for myself, right? And when he gave me this book, I started how many businesses? I started one business, two businesses actually. Started two business. And this thing, by the way, this whole paper, I wrote it after I read this book for the first time. And there's another paper here I wish I'm gonna show you. It's 600. Now I'm not a millionaire. I'm not even 100,000-aire. I'm a thousandaire, right? So what's written here is about the things that you do on a daily basis which affect your money, or which make you rich or poor. So Rich Dad Poor Dad book, it's a book that changed my mindset more importantly than anything else, because before I read this book, I didn't know that there's something there's something like working for money, and there's something like making the money work for you. I didn't know that such a thing exists. I was just a guy that was just willing to work. I didn't care what really relationship with money was and stuff like that. I didn't notice myself as working for money, and all I knew is that the money was supposed to be made. So I didn't have differences around whether the money is working for me or I'm working for the money, right? So after I read this book, I realized that there's a thing as making money making money for working for you, and working for money. And making money work for you, it's better than when you work for the money. And I got to learn around this. It improved my finances by just that, right? By making me aware that every rand that I have, I can either put it to work, or I can just be at work for it, right? So it also talk about not trading your time for money. And I didn't understand this. It has been spoken by a lot of people, but this book actually clarified it, right? Not not being a slave of for money. I have this thing as well, which I wrote it I think last year when I was reading the book for the second time. I don't know if you can see. I'm gonna try to put it closer. Okay, you probably won't see. Let me see. Okay, let me see if I do this. So I don't know if you can see, but okay, I'm just gonna go through this red race. It talks about the book also talks about red race, right? So it says a red race is when you get up, go to work, and pay bills. So this is basically when you work for money. You work for money so that you can pay bills. There is no break between you and money. Like the money makes you to get up in the morning so that you can pay bills. Like your mind is wired in a sense that when you see money, you see something that you can always pay. And you can always like work for you to have it. So the book was actually suggesting other ways of making money, like making passive income. And it was also showing other ways of making money by like learning around tax and capitalizing on the information. From this book, the greatest quote that I got is what's the quote? Your mind is an asset. If it is well trained, it can make you enormous wealth, something like that. Yeah, I'm just brutally paraphrasing, but it says something like that. Your mind is an asset, and if it's well trained, it can make you enormous, yeah, enormous wealth. It can make you rich. That's something I got from the book as well. And why should one read this book? Well, if you're really struggling to meet your financial goals and everything, this is the book to visit, right? Because sometimes when you struggle, it's not like you're not making money, but it's your mindset every time when you have money. Your mindset always drives you astray on the things that you do, right? On a daily basis. Like you are not able to meet your financial goals because of your habits. So, I was saying, you not meeting your financial goals, you probably need to read this book because sometimes you have to disorientate your habits, your money habits, and this book is one of the things that can help you to view to view your things, your finances differently, to view your money differently, because this is not just about money, it's about your personal money, right? It helps you. And one of the things that I love about this book, which says, it changed my life too, that pay yourself first. Most of the time, we prioritize paying these debts without having paid ourselves. And therefore, if we do that, we end up not having savings that we can invest or make them work for us in the near future. So when you don't pay yourself first, you always wait for other people because you end up even not having savings, right? It's something that I'm still learning and I'm still putting it into actions right now, right? Check something. Let me check something quickly. Now you're gonna love this, right? I'm having some dollars here. I'm having some rands here. You're gonna love this. What I mean is when you when you learn to pay yourself first, you always have savings. This money, it's my last paycheck in the US, right? And of course I've used I've used some money, right? But I made sure that I don't touch this one. And it's not the money that I save monthly. It's just the money that I decided not to use. I save more, right? I save more, as you can see. Like this is part of the money that I made. It's 600. Now I'm not a millionaire. I'm not even 100,000-aire. I'm a thousandaire, right? So this, how do I maintain my money today is far different from when I used to maintain it before 2019, before 2020, before 2021. Because when you read a book, what happened is the impact of it, you might not see it immediately. That's why I'm saying, when you read this book, you don't wake up rich, but indirectly you become rich because you've changed your mindset. And one of the things that I've come to learn that are coming from other books is that with richness you become rich before you actually get money. That's one thing that I've learned. And I'm still around this book, right? So it talks about the mindset most of the time, and it talks about the habits that you can put in your daily basis and stuff. I really enjoy this book. To have read it 2 times, it really shows, which is not many times. And I don't go to it because I want to tell people that I read it so many times. It's so good, but I read it because I forget sometimes. And how I read a book, I take time to read a book because I read a chapter and I go to act on it if there's something that is actionable around the chapter, right? So it took me for about a year to read the second time, right? So that's what I'm saying, that the nice thing about this book is that it's fun to read. It's fun to read. For me to have read it 2 times, it's really fun to read. It's not a boring book. It's a hard to put down book, right? So yeah, it really changed my life. It changed my mindset. I'm gonna try to show you some of the transactions that were happening in 2019 if I'm gonna be able to check it with my bank, right? Yeah, I'm gonna check it with my bank to see if you can spot a difference. I'm gonna show you my transactions that happen in a month and the transactions that have used to happen before I read the book. let's see if I can access a statement from back in 2019. Track money. Um, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Track money statements. Um, track money, track money, track money, track money. I'm still gonna try to go back. Unfortunately, I'm not able to go back. Really wanted to go back. I'm not able to go back. I really wanted to go back to 2019, but I can go back like to 2024 April. From now to 2020, like this is 2024, right? I can only move from this month to April, and this is like September. So I'm not able. I was gonna show you how much was my cash flow around that time. Before I read this book, I used to think, I used to think and stress, how do I make 1,000 rand? But now I stress on how do I make more than 10,000 rand. In other words, I don't find struggle in making 1,000 rand anymore because of this book. Because now there are systems that I've put in place, personal systems that I've put in place that are able to get me to 1,000 rand quicker than before. So this is the book that you can read. And the other thing about this book, why you should not read this book, if you're still at school, I don't advise you to read. If you're still in school, I don't advise you to read this book, because this book will discourage you a lot, right? It doesn't talk bad about school, but it talks in a way that you wouldn't see a need to study if you read this book, right? Because it talks about the whole system of education and all that stuff. So if you're still at school, it's probably not the right time to read this book unless you have tough mindset, or or maybe a very strong a very strong mentality on your goals and stuff like that, then it will find hard ways to discourage you. But if you have a soft mind like me, like my mind is very easy to influence, if you have that, I don't advise you to read this book, because myself, I read it when I was done with school. I was like, I'm reading this book now, it's safe. Because I attempted it to read it, but I realized the way it talks about school that I'm gonna end up not liking school and stuff like that. So yeah, it's not a very good book. And if you're still in school, but you can read it, all right. If you find courage, you can really read it. And the other reason why you shouldn't read this book is is the fact that this is a very capitalistic book. So it gives you a capitalistic mentality. I was a social entrepreneur. I was not a capitalistic entrepreneur. I was just a social entrepreneur. After I read this book, I saw a need to commercialize in everything. And that's why I'm doing even this reviews today. It's because I'm commercializing on this thing. I'm commercializing on reading books. I read the books that I can commercialize it. So these are type of tendencies that you get when you read this book. You no longer like thinking socialist. You're no longer a socialist and thinking about socialism and stuff like that. When you read this book, you wanna trace every rand, every dollar that is going on around you when you give people and stuff like that. And the other thing, when you read this book, it's gonna make you generous, because it desensitizes the fear around money, the fear around losing money. It makes you believe that you can have money, right? It eliminates all your fears around that. Now, the biggest question is, what impact this book directly made? When I read this book, my net worth was just under 30,000 rand. And I was going to have at least over 50,000 net worth. So after I read this book, which is post the book now, I've reached my goal of over 50,000 net worth. So my net worth is over 50,000 right now. And it's because of this book, right? So how did I read it in a way that it works for me? I read a chapter and and act on it. And I remember I started a business that I wanted to disconnect myself from the money, like being actively involved on money. I started a business that I call passive income business. Like it was helping me to make money despite the fact that I'm there or I'm not there. And that business, I remember I bought bicycles. I had two bicycles, and I was renting these bicycles 450 each, which they would give me 900 rand, right, a month. And I had other weekly options and stuff. It's because of this book. And that business doesn't exist anymore because I've outgrown it and I've saw better opportunities. And one of the things that I learned from this book is also like there's where he says money is not seen with the eyes, it's seen with the mind. Like the eyes for money is mind. If you unlock your mind, then you make yourself to be able to see money and to see ways of making money. So yeah, I love this book. It's a book that I'm not gonna get rid of it. Although I give a lot of I give away books, but this one it's a book to keep. It's an always have it kind of a book. So I'm just gonna read what it says here behind, because when I buy books, this is where I go first, right? I go behind the book and I read. I forgot what they call this, but soon I'm gonna be an author, so I will know what they call this, because I also have a book coming up. um, yeah, I do. You're gonna enjoy it. I promise you're gonna enjoy it. So I'm gonna read behind this book, and you will see if you want to buy it. And I'm gonna tell you the price where you can potentially find it. So it says the number one personal finance book of all time. Ex- Explode. Okay, so let me read it again. Rich Dad Poor Dad, the number one personal finance book of all time, explores the myth that you need to earn a high income to be rich, especially in a world where technology, robots, and global economy are changing the rules. So now that line itself, it tells you more about this book. One of the things that excited me about this book is that you can read it no matter how much you're making. Because I mean, I'm really unemployed. I'm not making much, I'm not making much. But with this book, there's a lot that I've achieved in the little that I make, right? And one of the things that I got in this book, I know that I keep saying one of the things, but it's true. One of the things that I got in this book said to me, Robert Kiyosaki said, it doesn't matter how much you make, but what matters is the principles that you apply on any amount that you make. So in the pursuit of richness, you don't have to make certain amount to say now I'm heading to rich, but you can head to richness despite the amount that you're making. So yeah, I think I'm enjoying this. I think I'm gonna do it every time, guys. It's so nice. I'm really enjoying this book review. I don't know if it's this book or specifically or what, but we'll see when we do other books, right? Okay, so I was reading to you that the book explores the myth that you need to earn high income to be rich, especially in a world where technology, robots, and global economy are changing the rules, right? And then point number two, Rich Dad Poor Dad teaches why acquiring and building assets can be more important to your future than a big paycheck, and the tax advantages investors and business owners enjoy. So I did accounting in school. Hey, I know there are people that I know I have classmates that I went to school with right here. And guys, you will remember in school we were taught about assets and all that stuff. But this book actually made the descriptions and everything around commerce to be easy for me. Right, this guy shows you in drafts, in illustrations, what he's talking about. Assets is something that puts money in your pocket. Liability is something that takes the money out of your pocket. As simple as that. Now, at school, this is the definition that I was taught. I don't know if, excuse me, I don't know if I still remember it, but this is what they taught me, right? They said asset is a resource owned by an entity as a result of, oh my god, I'm pushing it up. Okay, wait a minute. An asset is a resource that is owned by an entity as a result of economic embodiment, something like that. Guys, I really forgot, but that's how difficult it is to memorize it, right? So this one you don't even have to memorize it, but you just have to know it. Asset is something that put money in your pocket, and it's something, a liability is something that takes it out. So yeah, I really enjoy that. Okay, let me go to bullet number 3. Challenges that believes that your house is an asset, as millions of people learn firsthand when the housing bubble burst and the subprime mortgage fiscal ranged. You will remember in the year 2008, we had financial, okay, global financial recession, where people were losing their houses, and there was just a lot around that. There was just a lot around that. I was still young, guys. I know I'm taking from a like a very wavering sophistication right here, because I had no idea what they're talking about. But I just know that we had a global recession at that moment, right? And this book covers as well how to buy real estate and stuff. It's a very good book that encourages one to invest in assets. Bullet number 4, remind us why we can't count on the school system to teach our kids about money, and why this critical life skill is more important today than ever before. So the skill of making money, they say it's more critical today than ever before, but it's not a skill that you are taught at school. You remember what I told you? Please erase this in your ear. If you're still in school, don't like shut this off, information off. So that's what I was telling you, that the book would slightly discourage you to go to school. Although there's a part where, because the book is written in the context of okay, so let me tell you the context of the book. So Robert Kiyosaki, which is raised by a very qualified and highly educated father, consider his father as a poor dad, and went to ask how to learn about money to Mike's father. Mike is a friend of Robert Kiyosaki. So he went to Mike's father to ask him to teach him about money, right? So Mike's father is an entrepreneur. So he says Mike's father was a rich father based on evidence, though, right? So there's a point in the book. So that's the context of the book, right? Mike's father is a rich father. It's a rich dad. It's a rich dad, and his father is a poor dad. And there's a just justifications in the book on how he really unfolds this, right? And so I'm saying that's the context of the book, right? And then I wanted to say this at in the book. There's a point where Robert Kiyosaki have written that the rich dad said, continue, finish your school, and we will talk when you are done, something like that. There is something like that in the book. This book is so nice, guys. I cannot tell you enough about it. Okay, bullet number 5, which is the last bullet, explains what to teach your kids about money so they can be prepared for the challenges and opportunities of today's world and enjoy the rich life they deserve. That's it. That's it. It also teaches parents to teach their own kids how to raise your kids, how to raise your kids in a way that is going to make them rich. right? And this is the code that USA Today have put out. Okay, so this is the quote from USA Today, right? So it says, "Rich dad, poor dad is a starting point for anyone looking to gain control of your financial future." I cannot say this is true because my financial future is still coming. It happens every day. But I can say it's true that this book is a way to go if you want to gain financial control over your own finances, right? And the other thing that I wanted to say is because I did accounting, in accounting, we're not taught about personal finance. We always taught about corporate finance. So now we knew and I know how to deal with company finance, not personal finance. You will know that when you go deep in commercial studies and even study mercantile law or commercial law, it will tell you that a company is a different person, juristic person, and I'm a different person, natural person. So yeah, guys, that is that about the book. I know it's very long, but next time it won't be long like this because I will be getting straight to the book review. Right now, I had to say other things um, that probably disrupted the whole like the whole book review. But yeah, it's that. I hope you find it. If you like the review, it's a good book. It really improved my life. And it's $8 if you buy it from the US. In South Africa, I think $8 it's 100 and something. But you can take it, you can check it at Take a Lot. You can check it at Take a Lot. Let me check it for you. Okay, apparently in US dollars it's way too cheaper than here. So when you buy it in South Africa, it's 805 rand. 805 rand. So yeah, get yourself this book. It really helped me a lot. Remember, learning doesn't happen only on one book. So it's a recurring thing. You learn, you learn, you learn, you learn until you see yourself having lost these habits that hold you back. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. And if this was useful for you, share with your friends. And yeah.